once it starts showing up places. All right, it's showing up on Facebook now, so whatever we say or do is online and live now. I just have to turn on Periscope, and we can get going. There's a whole procedure to the madness.
You mean it's not just simple?
No. I mean, it is, but it could be easier.
Oh, I just got the update, the notification for your something Twitter or Periscope.
All right, we're now live 4 places, folks. Anybody tuning in right now, I am with Reezy Resells, and I'm doing a kind of a soft intro here because we also are doing a podcast within this live video. So I will start that momentarily, but Mike is an Amazon, I don't know if guru is the right word, but it probably is. Mike's made a big business out of selling things on Amazon, eBay, mostly Amazon. And we'll get into a more formal introduction here in just a moment. I just want to make sure everything is going as planned, and we will get it going. Mike, how's it going?
Excellent, man. It's a good morning out here in California.
Absolutely. Oh, I know what I've got to do. I've got one more place I've got to make sure it's turned on. And we're live on YouTube as well. Cool.
Awesome.
Let's see here. All right, I'm going to start the podcast part of it, and we'll just dive right in.
Let's do it.
3. Let's see.
You got to go to YouTube, guys.
3, 2, 1. Hey, folks, this is Todd Bergen at Todd.LIVE, the Create and Engage podcast episode 4 with Reezy Resells. This is a quadcast, Facebook Live, Periscope, Instagram, and YouTube, and is being recorded for a podcast. Podcasters, if you want to watch these live, check it out at www.todd.live/Facebook Live. Turn on the notifications, and you'll be notified when we're scheduling a broadcast and when we're going live. And for those who are watching on live video, if you'd like to catch the replay in a podcast format while you're out jogging or whatnot, you can find it. It's not actually there yet. After I get about 7 or 8 episodes, it will be going to iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google+. So that's to come. But if you're watching this sometime in June 2017 or thereafter, you're probably going to go ahead and find this there if you'd like. Replays, of course, are on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope. No replays for my Instagram Live fans. And for Instagram Live people, let me explain something to you. There is a delay in sound. That is because you are watching a recording or a screen of Facebook in Instagram, but the sound is coming directly from my mic into Instagram Live. So there is a delay. I understand that. I know that anybody who didn't hear that right now is going to come in and say, hey, there's a delay. Well, that's the reason why. So nothing I can do about it. If you don't like the delay, feel free to join us, www.todd.live/Facebook Live, and you can enjoy the content without the delay. In fact, that's where the best place if you want to comment to either Reezy or I, have any questions, want to have a shout out, anything like that, that's the best place to do that, Facebook Live. So welcome everybody, Periscope, YouTube, Facebook Live, and Instagram Live. Mike Resendez, Reezy Resells, a good friend of mine who I met on Snapchat probably about 1.5 years ago. And we hooked up on Snapchat, started talking. We're kind of doing a lot of the same stuff. Totally different experiences in our background, but we both are hustlers. We like to work hard. We like being entrepreneurs. We shun the day job or any idea of doing that whatsoever because there's so much better ways to conduct yourself and earn money and provide for yourself and your family. But we met on Snapchat, but we met in person because of Snapchat. I was watching his Snapchat channel, and his daughter
More specifically because of a Snapchat filter.
Exactly. And his daughter plays softball. She's quite good, and they travel. And he happened to be at a baseball park that he didn't mention the name of, and I could tell by the background that he was at Bill Barber in Irvine. And I was like, dude, we got to hook up and have a beer or something. You're like a mile away. And
was that when you did Snapchat tip 100?
You know what? It might have been around
when you did the takeover, right? I was doing a takeover on your account.
You did a takeover on my. You know what? I think it was.
So it's like you might have not even seen those snaps if it was on my account, but because it was a takeover on your account, you surely watched.
It was day 100.
What he made on your account.
It was day one. You've got a great memory. It was day 100, folks. I do a Snapchat tip. And I'm on, I think, tip number 450 or something like that. I do one every day. Yeah. And so Mike was on my channel doing a Snapchat takeover on tip 100. So that was about a year ago.
A bunch of people were, right?
Yes, I had a bunch of people on there. Have you done any takeovers on your account?
Not recently.
They're
Snapchat
awesome.
Really kind of fell off for me. Also, I also stopped giving it as much attention, like in response to me noticing everyone going over to Instagram, you know?
Right.
I have definitely not put as much energy into Snapchat just because I'm not getting as good of a response.
It looks like we have a lot of ninjas on Facebook. We've got 20-some people that have joined us. Welcome, nice. Ninjas, Reezy Ninjas. Glad to have you on the show. Mike, let's start with your social media strategy. I just want to dive right in because you're killing it right now. Talk about what it is you're doing and how you're maintaining, because you've got to be working long days getting this much content out, and good content at that. Good, solid quality bombs. They're bombs. I mean, it's just knowledge bombs, fun. Everything is high quality and well thought out. I mean, what's your goal here, and how are you putting it all together?
So I have a slight advantage, a couple advantages. One, I'm technology minded. I've always been good at technology, and I'm a skateboarder. And if you know skateboarders, they make videos. And so I've been making videos and using technology for a while. And I also, like when I used to use social media just for my personal self, which I don't really use too much anymore, I was, editing photos for Instagram, like using tons of different apps or whatever. So all of those things like come into play. So I'm pretty keen on finding out, like which apps can help you do different stuff. And one of the things I like to do is I follow a lot of other content creators or even people who specialize in different stuff. So like I'll follow like Cyrene Q or M. Platco or Sean Duras, and then I'll just badger the hell out of them when I see them do something crazy that I don't know how to do. I'm like, yo, how'd you do that? And like, they might not respond the first time, but like in the 10th time, maybe I'll catch them on Twitter or something, you can get a little nugget, or people, they make their own content and they'll tell you what kind of apps they use or how to use it. But for the most part, a lot of the stuff is just me taking Gary Vee's thesis and applying it to what I'm doing in my own way, using my own skills. Repurposing content is really huge. So if you can go live on Facebook and then engage that audience, but then when you're done, you can take that and then put that on YouTube, and then you can take that and then make that into a podcast. Usually if you do a live video, it's it's not artsy fartsy or whatever, it's more informational, and that probably translates to a podcast. So anytime I make a video that can translate to an audio format, I make sure to make that a podcast. So a lot of it is being everywhere at the same time. And I've realized over time, because I even use my personal Facebook page to show stuff now, as well as the fan page, but podcast, blah, 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 whatever. But you just start to learn where people live at, because most people aren't marketers like me and you, Todd. So they're not everywhere, nor should they have to be. They're going to be where they want to be. So if you're everywhere, and as long as you're not just like cross-posting content to different things and respecting the platforms, you'll start to find out, where people are at. And I don't know. Basically, it seems like a lot of work, but when you work smart instead of working hard, it's still a lot of work. But I'm not gonna get divorced, so I'm good.
Right. Well, yeah, and well, you were telling me the other day that because I asked you this the other day when we were on the phone, I said, I asked you how you did it, and you said your wife brings you coffee after coffee after coffee until
Oh yeah, until it's
and
done.
food and whatever else, which is awesome, right?
Oh, it's
Um,
ridiculous.
she's giving you total support, and that's fantastic. And actually, you probably need it if you're going to work those kind of hours, and particularly late at night. Um,
A lot
so
of people don't realize that, the well edited videos that I make that I pride myself on, like my recent New York City vlog,
awesome.
it's only 6.5 minutes, but that took me at least 10 hours to edit, so and that's not including filming it, just editing it.
Yeah, well, I love it because the jump cuts are timed with the music, with the beat of the music or sound effects in the music. And, there might be a part of the music where there's like 3 or 4 bells in a row where it's like ding, 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 ding. And you timed some jump cuts for that point in the music. And
You got
I
to.
mean, I was going to ask you for a referral for whoever did your video. And I don't think that you're taking clients for that, but it
No,
was just a brilliant piece of work.
thank you, thank you. Yeah, I could never let anyone edit my vlogs for me because that I love doing it. It's part of my passion. I really can't believe I stopped making videos for so long. I used to make videos in high school, and I would actually ditch school and stay in the video productions classroom all day. The teacher didn't care. He was super cool. But YouTube came out, and I didn't think of it as a TV channel. I thought of it as cool. I can put videos there, and I don't have to worry about them disappearing because hard drives were still expensive in 2000 or whenever YouTube came out. And but yeah, like getting into social media thanks to Gary Vee. Like I didn't know who Casey Neistat was until like halfway through 2016 or something, and I started watching his stuff, and I was like, dude, he's killing it, and this looks just like a skate video. And I didn't think it was like amazing. I mean, it is good and excellent, but it didn't, it's not like God level or anything. And I was like, I could do this, and so I just got into it, and it's super fun. It's incredibly fulfilling to make a piece of artwork and then have people consume it and then tell you did a good job.
Yeah, well, you know what? I wanted to ask you too. We've talked about video, and it seems to me that you put most of your time and effort into video rather than pictures and that sort of thing. I think the answers are obvious, but why don't you explain, why you're putting so much time into video and less time
So
into static
So I
images?
I definitely need to up my like quote card game or whatever. And I don't have a shortage of like quotes that I could come up with or like grab ones that are relevant to my industry. I like to make video because I like video and I do well on video, and I know that video reaches the people very well. Like if it's simple, post a video on your Instagram versus pictures and look how many times it gets viewed. Not likes, but viewed. You're getting way more impressions, like 3 to 4 times the impressions on video. Um, but at the same time, when I post, you never know what's going to work on social media. Nobody knows. You can react to what your audience responds to and do more of that, and which is what you should do, but you never know what it's going to be. So if I'll post a picture of me and my business partner from 10 years ago with a beer, that'll get like 500 likes, which is, more than a normal picture of me holding up, this box of $150 box of Dorito chips or whatever. But the emotional sentiment, a picture of me and my daughter, or a quote card. Quote cards I think do really well because people don't even have to really. It's quick to read and see it. Boom, they just hit it. They can read it in the wall, like in your wall form. They can see all your posts. They could see the quote cards without having to go into the image. But yeah, so like you said, video I think is way more important than photos, especially nowadays because we're going back to we're going to face communication. My daughter's 16 years old, and she doesn't call anybody. If she wants to talk to her friends, it's FaceTime every time. they're not even using the phone to look at each other, but they want to FaceTime. It's FaceTime or text. That's it. I don't see these kids calling each other at all anymore. And so, what does that tell you? That people really value that face-to-face communication, even if they're not looking at each other, just to have the ability to look at each other or to know that that person is sitting there by themselves. I don't understand it, but I'm trying to react to it basically.
Well, and as far as video goes, you know, I know that YouTube is difficult to get started on, but you're rocking it on YouTube. When did you really start pushing hard on YouTube, and why do you find it so important? Because you put a lot of content there.
So for the obvious reason, YouTube pays me. That's the first reason. So that motivates me to put content there. And it just seems like YouTube is the main focus. Not, I mean, not like implied by me, but just like in general, it seems like YouTube is considered more important by the audience. Like having a good YouTube channel is like having a being a published author or something in the modern social media world. And you know, if I'm going to get contacted by a TV show to be on this TV show, it's not going to be because of my Instagram content or my Twitter. It's going to be because of my YouTube. It's just like a measuring stick, you know?
Right.
And so, just along with other stuff, but I feel like YouTube is like the standard official thing, and that is the first platform that I really started. I started YouTube. Actually, I started on Facebook, and then once I didn't realize what I was doing on Facebook, and then I was like, oh, this is getting kind of serious. And then I found out who Gary Vee was, and I was like, oh, okay, I need to get on YouTube. And then, you know, like I said, then I learned who Casey Neistat was, et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, I can edit videos, and apparently we live in this world where if you can edit videos, you're a rock star. It like blows my mind, people chasing Casey Neistat down like he's the Beatles, you know? And why? Like, why are people chasing him
Well,
down? Because he makes cool videos? That blows my mind. Because when I grew up editing videos, you know, you weren't cool because you edited videos, you know? Like, well, you're cool for 5 minutes when people watch them, but after that, it's over.
well, yeah, I mean, Casey Neistat was on a commercial during the Super Bowl. I mean, that's how big he's gotten now.
Crazy. And then, you know, just like I just kind of realized the opportunity was amazing. Like, look at DJ Khaled. When did DJ Khaled get on Snapchat? Like late 2004 or something. And within like 6 months, he became, you know, the modern day Tony Robbins. And you know, Khaled obviously read all Tony Robbins books and other people's books, and he's just putting it out in a way that the youth can identify with it. And now he's at a White House Correspondents' Dinner, and it's not because of his music work; it's because of he's an influencer.
Yeah, I didn't know who DJ Khaled was. I never heard of him, he came across my Instagram somehow or another, and he's got like, you know, 1 billion followers. I mean, he's up there.
Billion.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? It's
Right.
nuts how many followers he's got. And once I saw his Instagram account, then I started noticing him in commercials and other places where I didn't know who he was. You know, and I still don't even think I know who he is. You know,
Right.
I mean, except I know he's a guy with a huge Instagram account, a huge following. He's very well liked, and he's crushing it. I know he's crushing it on Instagram. I don't know what else he's doing.
So he's a music producer slash promoter, and he started as a DJ back in the day and came up in the music industry rankings. I'm not going to pretend to know the whole story,
Right.
but he was already pretty papered up, you know, but not nowhere near to the level that he's at now through social media.
Hey, I got a little news flash. I don't know if you saw it yet today. I didn't see it, but my friend Ross Brand, who was on the live video show and podcast last week, he's telling me that YouTube is giving him live streaming now on his mobile device, and you don't need the 1,000 followers anymore. Have you heard this?
I got in before they did the limitation. So when they first announced that they were doing mobile, I had 12,000 subs on YouTube,
Right.
and you had to have 10,000 subs to get into it. So I got in there,
Right.
and
Yeah.
then I don't know if they said they were dropping it for mobile, but it's kind of hard for me to remember because at the same time they also instituted new limits for regular, like now you can't monetize your account until you get 1,000 views or 100 subs or something.
Yeah, they're toying with it, obviously, trying to figure out what's going to work and make sense. And They're gonna go through a lot of adjustments. Now, since you were in when they broke ground with that, did you use it, YouTube Live, and
Oh
the
yeah, I love it.
monetization, and where people send you? Don't they send you donations or
Oh, I haven't figured that out. So also, yeah, what is that called? Like super something,
super
super chat?
super chat?
Yeah, so I have it turned on, but nobody wants to pay you. So like I think I got like 50 cents. I also don't ask people to pay me, but maybe that would work. There's also someone was telling me you can make your videos rentable or like purchasable on YouTube. I haven't even looked into that.
Yeah, I watched a replay of a super chat from a guy. I don't remember who it was. It's some tech guy who does video and live video on YouTube and stuff. And he was just having like a basement talk. He was sitting on his couch and he was just having a talk about something that had happened with YouTube or one of the video. It was somewhere. And I watched for maybe 5 minutes and he got sent like $125 during that. Like things came up and he would say, "Hey, thanks for the $20." Oh, wow. I'm in my pajamas. Thanks for the $20. And it
That's
just kept
awesome.
coming in. And I guess he provides a lot of value and people are just throwing money at him. And it's the only time I've ever seen that happen.
I got an idea for that. What if guys, I don't know if you know Todd, but I rap, freestyle rap, but I haven't done much of it on social media because it's kind of like the most intense thing ever. You can't mess up.
Right.
But what if I did that live on YouTube? You guys can super chat me some money and then pick a topic and I'll rap about it. That'd be fun.
That actually might work. That actually might work. I mean, if you're
No, it'd be
taking,
fun.
suggestions and people could have fun with that. But yeah, I don't know. So you mentioned a few minutes ago that you pretty much moved on from Snapchat, which I hate to hear it because you were crushing it.
I still use Snapchat, Todd. I'm not moving on from it, but not the only content I put on there comes from these babies.
Oh, the spectacles.
Yeah, which are the best thing ever. Like there's a lot of there's cons, right? It's a pain in the butt to transfer the footage to your phone, especially if you want HD, which you do, and they're not the best looking or whatever, but the ease of which, like, I have like a week's worth of content in on my face right now. And
Right.
so like all I got to do is go into my phone and start adding it up, and that's awesome, especially since some of those clips within those days, I'm going to take those and put those on Instagram. And even in my most recent in that New York City vlog, I don't know if you recall, but I took the spectacles off and I put them into the scanner
Right.
when I went through the airport. And so that was pretty cool footage of the glasses going into the X-ray scanner. And then also again when I was skateboarding in the airport, and then when I met up with my friend in New York City and gave him a high five, that footage is all spectacles, the circular footage, but zoomed in to fill in the frame on my video. And if I wouldn't have had that footage, I wouldn't have been able to tell that part of the story
That
because I'm a pretty much amateur vlogger. So oftentimes I'll forget to like film a clip here or there. And when you're trying to tell a story and you don't have that information, that's when you have to, put words on the screen or, just say what I didn't just show you guys is blah, 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 blah. And that's kind of boring. So thank you to, make your life easier, not harder, right? So content on content.
Yeah, I like the spectacles. You know what? I'm guilty of not using them, and I paid for them. As a matter of fact, I paid you for them.
Sorry, Todd.
But that was fun when we. That was another way that we kind of our friendship kind of developed was going after spectacles because
Yeah.
that was a circus for about 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, that was a pretty fun video that I made too. I was at my daughter's softball game and we were at a field super early in the morning, and it was, let's see, it's like not too early, but it was like 7 in the morning and we were an hour away from home, and I got a text from someone that was like, "Dude, did you see where the spectacles dropped?" And I was like, "No, let me go check." And it was at Big Basin State Park, which was 30 minutes from where I was. So I actually sacrificed going to my daughter's game so that I could go drive to Big Basin. And I had the mindset to film it, and I made a pretty cool vlog. That's one of the vlogs that I pride myself in. I edited it nicely and it got a good response or whatever. But the funniest thing was it was an advantage because it was in the middle of the forest, so nobody could really get there. and there was no signal for like about a mile or a 2 mile radius. You remember, Todd?
Yeah.
I could make phone calls, but I couldn't get any data, and I couldn't even send a text. And I was like, "Where's it at, Todd? Where's it at?" And you were like, Todd was going into Twitter and Instagram on hashtags for me and calling me back, and he's like, "I think it's at this place called something something cafe or what." Like, I pulled over at the state park, jumped out, asked the ranger. I was like, "Where's it at, man?" And he's like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And I'm like, you don't know, you're not internet people. And get back in the car. Like,
Well,
it was
that
madness.
was the second drop that Snapchat had. The first drop was like 2 or 3 days before, so the frenzy was on. I mean, there were people getting on planes from like Las Vegas and trying to get up to where you were.
Yep.
I went
Flying
to
into the Monterey airport, which is a small airport.
yeah, it was crazy. I mean, even several weeks into it, it was still got kind of crazy because they put it down at the bottom of the Grand Canyon, and the only people that could get to it were people who were willing to pay for a helicopter ride down to the bottom of the Grand Canyon, so they
What's
could.
so funny about that is that was one of my friends, John Reuter, also a member of my Facebook group. He learned about the ability to resell spectacles for profit from me, and I told everyone to pay attention, and then it dropped near his house, and he was calling me, and he's like, "Dude, I'm driving towards it, but it's my GPS says it's in the middle of the desert. Like, I don't know what's gonna." Turns out he ended up taking a helicopter to get there, and I forget which, the AP picked up his article that he wrote on his blog, and
I
it
saw
made it
that.
onto like CNN or something like
Yeah,
that.
it was huge.
He put in a clickable link in the article, like, I learned about it from my friend Reezy Resells, like, to my YouTube, and of course they pulled that link out or whatever. But one thing that I thought was really awesome is that he said it while he was on the helicopter ride to the Grand Canyon, to get the spectacles. There was a family of Asian tourists on the helicopter with him, and they didn't speak any English. And he was like using Google Translate and trying to explain to them the possibility of how they could make so much money by buying these glasses or whatever. And then when he gets out of the helicopter, they just all walk right past the snap bot and they don't get any spectacles. And there was no line. And he said he got like 9 pairs before the attendant walked up on him and was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, there were some people. I mean, I went to the Santa Monica and people were getting, they were buying. I mean, they put a limit on it at some point. It was too late for me though, but there were people buying as much as they could. And the thing was, is you had to slide your credit card each and every time. And of course, most bank cards, once you do the same exact transaction, you
Right.
get a no. So if you have 3 bank cards with you, then you might get 3 spectacles. If you have 5, whatever. But when I was there at Santa Monica, which was the very first drop, what happened was Joel Comm put on his Facebook page that these things were dropping, and I dropped what I was doing to go up there and get it, and stood in line all afternoon. I didn't know Justin Wu at the time. Apparently, he was in line in front of me. I don't remember if he got any that day or not. I think he did. Hackapreneur, if for those guys who know Justin.
Yeah,
But
I don't know him personally, but I have been introduced to him by a couple of my friends.
yeah, he's a good guy, and he's hitting hard on social and video. But and he's a big Snapchatter. But a lot of people walked away empty-handed. So I was delighted to work with you and get pairs. What'd you get? 5 or 6 pair at
5 pairs. Yeah, I should have got six, but after the fifth pair, my bank started declining my card. And when there's 50 people behind you in line, you can't really, it's not polite to call your bank and try and fix that. You're just done.
yeah, and you had them sold within a week, I think.
Yeah, I sold 1 pair. So they were 130 plus $10 tax, so 140 out of the machine. And we had 5 pairs, and I sold 1 pair on eBay for $1,000. But after taxes and government fees, government's taking 43% of every dollar I make because I live in California. And then, eBay takes like 12% or whatever. So I was actually much more happy to sell the 2 pairs that I sold to you for $500 each cash.
I know. Yeah, and I
Sorry,
was
Uncle
happy to.
Sam.
Yeah, I was happy to get them. But I need to start using them. I've got them charged. I don't know why I don't get them out. I think that, you know what? I think I would use them more if the design would have allowed for a double-ended USB of some sort to where
Yep.
you import the pictures very quickly into
Yeah,
your computer.
I guarantee that when the version 2 comes out, they're going to fix all those problems. So, version 2 spectacles will probably look much more ubiquitous. They will probably have, like you said, they'll either have a micro. I mean, I don't understand why they didn't put a micro SD card slot right there in the hinge. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this thing is big enough to hold a micro SD card right here. Why is there not a micro SD card in there? That would make it 1,000 times easier, because the problem is when you transfer the footage, you have to stay in the Snapchat app or the footage doesn't transfer.
Right.
And that's the stupidest part, because what like I have to really really try to find 20 minutes where I don't touch my phone.
Well, going back to the fact that you're not, and I didn't mean to imply that you were abandoning Snapchat, but you've been focusing maybe more when it comes to the micro in the moment, almost live content like Snapchat or Instagram. You've been focusing more on Instagram stories, I think, haven't you?
Definitely, definitely.
What's
Instagram, they're
Yeah.
just crushing it, man. And by crushing it, I mean Snapchat. I feel like there's going to be like an antitrust lawsuit or something. But yeah, Instagram is like, not only is there the community there is really large, especially for my niche, which is resellers. People love Instagram because they can share the pictures of what they found. Um, some people use Instagram directly to sell the stuff that they find, so you'll see their feed is just nice pictures of the items that they got. So because of the community is there, then obviously that's where the eyeballs are going to be. And then on top of that, Instagram is I would say innovating, but they're just copying. They're innovating some new stuff or whatever. Just recently they finally incorporated their purchase of M squared into Instagram. So now we have face filters. But on top of that, they have the location inside the story is clickable, and that's huge because all those things are just like more hooks, like more. If you're fishing at the wharf, do you want to have one pole in the water or you want to have five poles in the water? So you got your location tag, and they just rolled out hashtag stickers in Instagram stories. So all of those things, well, people can't discover you or your story clip or whatever through those hashtags, but from inside your story they can go out to the other stuff, and if you have curated stuff posted to your wall with those hashtags, that stuff's going to come up there.
pretty awesome. You know what? I don't use it as much because I feel like Snapchat though, and you can kind of talk about your experience with this, but I feel like Snapchat, I get like genuine looks, like people who are wanting to watch my content, watch it every day. They're there. And
Right.
Instagram, and they give feedback, where
Right.
Instagram is like a void. There's very little feedback. I get maybe some feedback from, close friends or people that I know in the industry, but I don't really get a lot of new people. I do get
So
a lot of new people that watch.
what about on Facebook though? You get some engagement on Facebook, right?
Yes, but
Okay. So but that's what's your industry, right? Marketing.
exactly.
And that's where the marketers are, right? So all the marketers that follow me in my industry, it's the same. That's Facebook. That's where they are, because I don't, no offense, they're just older guys.
Right.
Facebook, that's where they live at. Everyone lives at their own space or whatever. Um, I get genuine engagements on all my platforms for the most part, but obviously when I get 2,300 views in a day on Instagram, I'm not gonna say all those people are people that give a shit about me, but I do get a ton of replies, and those are how I gauge how I'm doing on social media. So if you want to, the main thing that's it's so beautiful about social media is when you have an audience, you will find out what you're good at and what you should do based on how they respond to your content. And that's when you need to go, oh, they like that, I need to do more of that. Oh, they like my cute kid, show my cute kid more. Oh, they liked the music, show snaps with more music. Oh, they like it when you're funny, be funny more or whatever. But the way you know what they like is not because they liked your photo or because they followed you, because all of that shit takes one finger, one hand, one click. Anything that's like, if you're trying to sell something, you want to make it easy as hell, one click. And that's, you're more likely to convert with the one click because it's easy. But on this other side of that coin, don't value that engagement so much with someone if it's one click, right? So the things that I value and understand how I'm doing are replies to your story and comments, because those take two hands. You had to literally take your phone, put your other hand on it, think of something, and then write either a comment or a reply, which is you can't get people to put that kind of effort into stuff nowadays. So when people comment on your post and it's irrelevant, not an auto comment with an emoji or whatever, a thoughtful comment or a reply. That's how you know you did good. And you should keep doing those kinds of things. And on the other side, if you want to engage with someone like me, I try to reach out to other content creators or, bigger sellers or whatever, and you want to show them that you're giving them your attention, that's what you should do. You should reply to their stories, comment on their photos with relevant comments and longer than the average, great shot, or whatever.
I wonder how many people actually put that much thought into it. I think what you said there was brilliant about, coming to a conclusion based on the fact that to comment had to use two hands. And so it took more effort than just hitting their thumb on a like button. And that's where you did well. Is there anything that you've done where maybe you didn't have a high expectation of it and people just went crazy?
Yeah, all the time. It's classically happens to me that I'll be debating on posting something and then I post it and it performs well. It happens almost every single time I doubt myself or whatever. So, um, yeah, it's always going to be those stuff. It's not the super hardcore informational posts. It's a picture of me with my daughter when I was 15 years old, or a picture of me and my wife when we were 15, or thank you, babe. She just delivered me some more water. Yeah, coffee,
Nice.
please. Um, so you never know, but here's the beautiful thing about social media, guys. You can delete shit, and you should. So if you post something, the kids know this, but the adults don't really know this. If you post something and it doesn't do good, delete that shit. Get it out of there. Like who cares? The 45 people that saw it, they're not going to care that you deleted it, like
They're not going to remember it.
yeah, yeah, don't become too attached to your content. It's not concrete, right? Like you can delete it. You can I just saw Carlos Gill talking the other day. He said he was asking about in his social media masterminds group on Facebook, which is a great group. If you guys need social media
Yep.
tips, you should go check out Carlos group on Facebook. Maybe Todd will put the link somewhere for us. But he was asking, is there a tool to go to clean up an old Twitter account? So essentially, he had an account that he was using, has a lot of followers, but he's not using it anymore, and he's going to rebrand it. So he's going to go and delete all the content and then start over again while retaining the followers, which is super genius level strategy in my opinion. But once again, guys, the value is in the attention that you have people following you, and don't marry, your posts. Divorce those things if they don't perform well.
That's interesting. Now I'm gonna ask you something that I have a personal interest in, since you
Let's do
just
it.
said that. I had a website that I ran for a number of years. It was a news website, and my Facebook page I was pushing 30,000 followers. And I'm not running that website anymore for a lot of different reasons, but I still have that Facebook group, and I think I have 27,000 followers. And I was thinking about doing a live video show in the same industry, which is firearms related. And so you think it's cool to totally rebrand that page and retain all those 27,000 and just start fresh?
I think it's your page, so you can do whatever the hell you want, and if they don't like it, they can leave.
Right.
Obviously, you could probably do it in a way that is more likely to make them leave, so I mean to not leave. So like you could do whatever you want, but if to soften the blow to them, I would say you want to ease into it. So go from doing what you're doing to showing more of your personality, and then start transitioning into the new thing so it seems more natural. So for example, I might have started out my channel on YouTube and it was just super informational, and now it's going towards being more vloggy with some information. And then also I'm showing my family more, somebody the other day told me, Reezy, Peter Griffin ain't got shit on you. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess I am the family guy now.
Yeah, I've been thinking about whether to do that or whether just to start fresh. That's interesting that you say that. This is actually a page that I haven't posted anything on in like 3 years.
Yeah,
So
that happens with a lot of people, right? I'm sure all of you guys, people are listening to this. You follow people who started their content one way, and once people started following them and just liking them personally, the options opened up for them, and they could, just go to Disneyland and make videos, and you were still watching that. So I love making videos, so whatever you guys want to watch me do, that's fun for me to do and to make videos of, I would do it. I got a lot of response while I was on my New York trip. So, I'm apparent to me that people really like travel vlogs. And so if I can go to a place I've never been before and make a video about it and share that experience with the viewers, which a lot of people said they felt like they went to New York City when they watched my vlog, that's amazing. And then also, well, this is just me paying attention to what's getting a lot of responses. While I was on vacation travel vlogging, I ate out almost every single meal and I tried to eat at really good places. And so I was showing the food and talking about it. And I got a lot of comments and replies about the food. And people were like, Reezy, you should do a food blog or a food vlog, whatever. And I was like, okay, okay. People like to see good food. So you show good food, travel, be funny, make good videos. Sounds like a good time to me.
Absolutely. So let's talk about your New York City trip. You went to New York City and Philadelphia, and you had a few speaking gigs. Tell us about that.
So the first, this is the craziest. This is so crazy. So it's like a long story. So I went to Philadelphia to speak at the Circle of Greatness Academy event, which is ran by an awesome man named Nehemiah Davis. But the course of events that got me there is insane. So Nehemiah Davis is a recipient of the Steve Harvey Award, and he's been on the Steve Harvey Show for his work that he's doing. And he was on the on Andy Frisella's podcast, the MF CEO. That's another podcast that I want to be on. If you guys want to shoot Andy an email, that'd be awesome. And so Nehemiah was on MFCEO podcast, and my friend Monica Gamboa at the Posh Hanger, she follows MFCEO also. So she found out about Nehemiah through MFCEO. Then she reached out to him, and he does a webinar type thing, and had Monica on his webinar. Then she suggested to him that I go on there, and so I did a webinar with him, and in the middle of the webinar, he was like, "Man, you're just killing it, Reezy. You're so passionate. We got to have you out here in Philadelphia and speak to my people." And I was like, "Dude, I'll do it." I was like, "Peanut butter, I'll do it for free." And so I was like, "Dude, make it happen." You know what I mean? And I was like, "All I want to do is see the city." And as soon as that happened, as soon as someone found out I was going to do that, I immediately got contacted and was like, "Look," by my friend Chris Green at Locomotum, and he said, "Hey, we're doing this Scan Power thing in Rhode Island. If you can get here, I can get you on stage." And I love talking and I want to do it. So obviously, I made it happen with the help of Nehemiah Davis and the Circle of Greatness. And so all of these things, led up to me. Now all of a sudden I'm in New York City, which, I never been to New York City, and grew up thinking I would never go anywhere cool like that. So um, went to New York City for a couple days, then went to Philadelphia, spoke at that event, which was amazing. I think are you still on the chat, Nehemiah? How many people were at your event? I want to say it was like 300 people, maybe. I don't know. When you're on stage, it looks like a lot of people, I guess. But so that event was really cool, warm, welcoming. And then after that, I went straight to Rhode Island, and he said there was 200 people, but whatever. It looked like 500 to me. And then I went to Rhode Island and spoke at Chris's conference, and that is the one that I feel like I really, really roasted it, because at the uh, at the Circle of Greatness one, I did really good, but they expected me to do good, and the welcoming was really warm, so the energy was completely different. And I spoke for like 45 minutes. I think I did half talking about selling books and half about social media. But at the other conference, I did an hour, and it was all on passion and social media. And I had my phone plugged into the projector, and I was showing people my content. And it was really amazing because I don't think anyone expected me to do good. And, they were like, "Who's this?" I was one of the younger persons there, and "Who's this kid wearing all these baggy clothes and these straight hats?" And we saw him drunk last night at the bar off Hennessy singing rap songs on karaoke, "Who is this guy?" And so it's a total different environment. And then when you do good, when people, I left the stage to thunderous applause, and they didn't expect me to do it. So like when people doubt me, that's just fuel for my fire, and I feel like I killed it like 10 times as hard because they didn't want me to kill it, and so I did.
Well, I don't doubt you at all. I think you're kicking, basically kicking ass. And your community is heavily devoted to what you're doing. I go to your Facebook page, which, folks, if you don't know, Reezy has a Facebook page. You can go and type in Amazon FBA and Reezy, and you will find it. And it's got like 14,000 people. And what I find so impressive about your page, one is, 13,000 people is awesome, but and I'm sure you grew that completely organically, but the people there are engaged. Like, and one thing, I went to a thing called World Domination Summit in Portland, Oregon last year. And one of the speakers there talked about how, things are really happening for you when what you have created is operating, even when you're not present and involved. And so like World Domination Summit, it's a community now. And like, you can take the founder of World Domination Summit out of the equation, and all those people are still communicating and talking and sharing and all that, but it's all around what he's created. And I think that's what you've done with your business. And I see it most prominently on your Facebook page, because people come in there and they're like, I mean, I've gone in there. I'll tell you a little story, and then I'm going to hand it over to you to talk about this, what I've noticed. But there was a time, it wasn't too long ago, where Walmart's UPC was wrong or something on iPads, and there was this frenzy to buy iPads they were like $500 iPads for $60, and that's what they were scanning at. And so people all over the country were rushing to their Walmarts, and you had people on your Facebook page that were sharing pictures of their receipts and sharing screenshots of the software that was spitting out information about which Walmart locations had these iPads, and people were running out. And my brother, who lives in South Carolina, he's usually up late at night. And I did a search looking for iPads for me, and I couldn't find any in Orange County, Los Angeles area for me to go and try to snag. But I found them where my brother lives in South Carolina, and he got up out of bed. He didn't get one. They were either out or they had fixed the problem or whatever. But he went out at like 1 or 2 in the morning to try to snag an iPad clear across town. And because your website, I didn't see that you were commenting that evening. You weren't there, but everybody else was there, right? And they were trying to score this deal. And that's what you've created. You've created this community of people who are doing the similar things that you do, and it operates whether you're there or not.
Right. It's pretty awesome. What you were just talking about with the glitches or whatever. I don't know what people call it or whatever, but basically there's a website called brickseek.com, and it was originally made to track Legos and where the Lego was in stock. Brickseek, get it? Because buying and holding Lego is it's an investment strategy. Look it up, Google it. There's a few websites and blogs dedicated to it, but buying and holding Lego might have been better than any stock in the last 50 years. Similar to a lot of stuff, right? Like if you had some Yeezys from like year one, they'd be worth a lot. But so it also tracks a ton of different other websites. Let me adjust my microphone real quick. Hold on. How's the sound? The sound's fine?
Yeah, you sound fine. Every once in a while we get a little squeak. I don't know if you hear that, but we do.
For me. Anyway, so it tracks a bunch of different products. Any product, you can put it in and see if it's in stock where you're at. But one of the best things is they have this section called like hot deals or like flying off the shelf or whatever it's called. And if you go in there, it will show you all the products that have like the largest price drops from the retail price. And if you pay attention to that, then you can see, you'll find those iPads when they're $60, and you got to find them right away. You got to be there first, because everyone is going to go for. People are making a living off of these mistakes that retail stores are making, and then you can take those items, sell them on eBay or Amazon or whatever, and make a ton of money. But you got to have access. So I live in a surf town. I have to drive 45 minutes in either direction just to get to a Walmart. I don't have a Walmart. So some people, you have 3 Walmarts that you can get to in 15 minutes. That's an advantage. And so it's not just the iPad. There was iPhones that went through. There's, all kinds of stuff. But, obviously the electronics items are the ones that are going to have the largest margin for you to make some money on. So that's a huge tip. You guys should check out brickseek.com, and see if there's any price drops for items around you.
Yeah, I got started as an online entrepreneur. I was an entrepreneur before the internet, but I was an online entrepreneur because of eBay, and I used to play the news. And it's things like that. I mean, that wouldn't have made the news back when I was doing eBay in 1998, 1999, 2000. When I was selling tons of stuff, but I would watch the news. I would watch if they were talking about something on the Today Show, like in 2008 when Barack Obama was running. Was it 2008? Yeah, 2008 when he was running for president. There was a magazine, a New Yorker magazine, where a lot of people were finding offense to their satirical cover of him and Michelle Obama doing a fist bump, an Afghan fist bump, or a terrorist fist, whatever it is, in the Oval Office with all this stuff on the walls and to make him look Muslim. And I knew when the Today Show did that piece, that magazine was going to be a real hot item, and I couldn't find it anywhere.
Wow.
And it was nowhere, and I pretty much had given up on it because it was a hot item. But then I had to travel by plane twice that week, and I found it in the bookstores on the other side of security where all the eBay hustlers couldn't get to and
Haha.
clean them out, right?
Yeah.
So I left the airport every time I came home. Like I was trying to find ways to ship my stuff home so I could have suitcase full of
That's a pro
magazines.
tip right there,
Yeah,
man. That's
magazine.
a huge pro tip, guys.
It might be worth the
Anytime you're
price.
trying to source any product that might be behind enemy lines, or in this case, behind the airport
Behind
security,
security.
that's a barrier of entry.
It
And
is.
so off the top of my head right away, I'm like, oh, there's Starbucks inside the airport, and Starbucks typically sells stuff that's highly collectible.
Yeah, so you know if you think you're going to score like the magazine, I mean, it's a risk, it's a dice roll, but what? You buy a $70 Southwest plane ticket to get to the other side of the gate? You're not even going to fly. You're just going to go in there and clean out all the newsstands of all the
Yeah, you
magazines.
might do that, or that you might take a flight on a business expense because you had to get over there anyways.
Well, yeah, and then you clean out two airports, right? You fly like you go
Sounds
to
like you just created a way to travel around on a business expense just to clean out the airport stock.
Yeah, I didn't really think about it that way, but I did think about the idea of paying to get to the other side of the gate. Would there be enough inventory? And I don't know if there's a way to contact those stores and find
Right.
out what's there. But
Just a little side question, do you have TSA clear?
no,
I'm gonna
I
get
don't fly
TSA
enough. Yeah,
clear.
I'm gonna get it too. We do fly often enough. I don't fly enough that it's really been a hot item for me to
It's
go
only like
after.
$100, right?
I think so per
And it
person.
goes for international as well.
Yeah, I've got four, so I've got $400. Is it yearly? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think it lasts for 5 years.
Yeah, I need to do that.
Yeah, my buddy has it, and so we're on this trip, and he was just laughing at me from the other side of security. Like, he get through in 2 minutes, and it takes me 20 minutes. It's ridiculous.
Hey, so I want to get your thoughts on because and I hate to belabor this whole Snapchat, Instagram thing, but
I'll go for it.
what I mean, you've used both so heavily, and there was a recent thread in Carlos Gill's social media masterminds group that you had mentioned. It's a great group. There was a recent thread about what Snapchat could do to kill it. What are your thoughts? What do they need to do if they want
I
to?
think Snapchat needs, like, the only thing that I would say that I'm smart enough to say that they need that wouldn't go against what they're already doing is to add live. They should add live, and they should allow the other, the users to discover those live. I mean, I don't understand why they already have the discovery going where you can type goat or you can type basketball or whatever, type horse, and snaps come up that have horses in them. They're using not just text but also optical recognition. And obviously they want to create, a new way for people to find content and experience inside the app. So, what's more engaging than live? Nothing. Listen up, marketers. Nothing is more engaging than live. And so, yeah, why wouldn't you want to have, oh, I'm live at the Snapbot on Venice Beach. Oh, I'm live at, this speech or that speech. I don't understand why why are they complacent to let their competitors run those streaming events when they have a dedicated audience that's inside of their platform? Like, a Snapchat follower is probably worth 5 Instagram followers, if not 10, because in order to add someone on Snapchat, 90% of the time it wasn't one click. It's not because you used their Snapchat add me link on some website and it opened up in Snapchat. Usually it's because they typed in your name or they saw your Snap code and they were interested enough to go into the camera mode and press and hold on the screen and do it. And these things take longer than 1 second, one click. So therefore, the Snapchat follower is more interested in you, you know? And like Instagram came with a bunch of people following already, you know? Most people have a ton of people that follow them on Instagram. So it's totally different. But this is interesting because just yesterday I asked my Snapchat audience what keeps you on Snapchat? Like why do you like it? And so some people said that they get more authentic engagement and there's less spam. So I understand that because if you follow 1,000 people on Instagram, that makes it hard to see the stories that you want to see because marketers like me and you are filling up the top of their thing and they can't get to their friends' stories. So using Snapchat, it's more of the people that you actually want to see. And then also, Snapchat has the feature that Instagram really needs to jack, which is you can pick and choose your friends and then press play and only watch those stories. That is heat right there. Like, I really wish I could do that on Instagram because I don't watch much content, but if I did do that, I would go through and pick the ones I did want to watch and then watch those, which is huge. So not only is Snapchat not full of everyone that you don't want to see, you can even further refine it and only view the stuff that you do want to see. And a lot of other people replied saying that they use it for friends and family to communicate. So they use it literally as a messaging app and do FaceTime with their family or whatever. And because of that, that's why they're in Snapchat viewing my content when I put it on Snapchat because they already live inside of there as a messaging platform. Um, I don't use it too much as a messaging platform for my family, but I know like my wife and daughter and my sister-in-law, they have a group message going on Snapchat forever. And when I was on this trip right now with my buddy Ernson, he has one going with his family. And I was asking him why, and he was like, well, it's just like the only app that everybody in the family uses, from the older kids to the younger kids. So maybe that's why, you can guarantee the kids are going to be on Snapchat. My 16-year-old daughter still heavily prefers Snapchat.
Yeah. Now, does she use? She uses YouTube, of course, doesn't she?
Yeah, she has a YouTube channel.
How about Facebook?
Nope, she does not have a
Now,
Facebook
that's what I
account.
was going to talk to you. I want to get some thoughts on that because one of the things that I've been saying more and more lately is the importance, and I'll kind of preface this. I've decided that in my content marketing strategy and where if I'm going to create content and get it out there, the two most important channels are going to be, aside from my blog, my own blog, my website, Facebook and YouTube. And the reason is Facebook, it can't be ignored. I mean, there's so many people on it, and there's so many ways that you can use it and target. It's great for a lot of things. But you have a young daughter. I have a young daughter. Mine's 13. She has no interest in Facebook at all. She uses
Yeah,
Instagram.
none.
Yeah, she uses Instagram heavily. She uses YouTube heavily. She uses Snapchat heavily. And she has no interest in Facebook. And actually, she's trying to be an entrepreneur. And I told her, you're going to have to be on Facebook. It's just one of those things. And one of the great things for her
Maybe
is,
not, but yeah.
well, here's my reasoning. The reason why I think she should be on Facebook at 13, if she's trying to build a business, which she's doing on Instagram right now, the reason I think she should be on Facebook is because everybody her age is saying no to Facebook. So if you're the one that's there, that's that age, and you get established at some point when everyone gives in, if they ever
Yeah.
do, then
Or
you're,
whatever it's going to be, they're
yeah,
not going to lose their eyeballs.
right. You're going to be there and you're going to have 10. Let's say all the people that are 13 now start really coming around when they're
Right.
25, 30 years old.
Right.
Well, my daughter will have 17 years in it.
Yeah, so I said maybe not, but at the same time, my 5-year-old daughter has a Facebook fan page, so
Well, I
uh,
figured, oh yeah, you created that, right? And I,
yeah,
I
of
think
course
I'm
she
a
didn't
fan.
create it. So she has a Twitter with like 3,600 followers, or I mean an Instagram, and a Facebook fan page, and a Twitter, and a Musically, and of course I monitor all this stuff, and she doesn't create or post anything. We're doing all the posting for her, but like you said, it's important to be everywhere, especially if you can find white space and fill it in. Because, there's white space. There's no 13-year-olds on Facebook. That's a lot of white space. People are going to watch content created by people in their niche or people that resemble them, which means they look like you or it's your age or they're interested in what you're into. So Luna's making YouTube videos and other 5-year-olds are watching them. Those type of things. Your daughter will make video, another 13-year-olds will watch them. But it's important to exist everywhere. This is a general tip for all marketers or people who want to do social media, you have to be on every platform, every single one, and your name, your at handle should be the same on every single one, and so should your profile picture, just for, uniformity across the board. And the reason is that you want to, even if you're not on Facebook, like that's not where you put a lot of content, you want to make sure that when somebody talks about you on Facebook, that your name is clickable, because otherwise you're missing one casted line into the water, and that could come back to your Facebook page, and then there's automation. You can have a Facebook page and not even really do anything on it. Just use if this then that to auto post your Instagrams to your Facebook fan page or to your Twitter or whatever. So here's a funny story. Luna, my daughter Luna Reezy, that's her handle, at Luna Reezy. She did Lion King Broadway musical, Lion King Jr., right? It was the first performance ever of a Lion King Jr. Like they bought the script right when it came out. And she did really good, and I filmed some of the footage. And so I put that on my Instagram or on my Twitter, sorry. Apps get all mixed up in my head. But anyway, so the Lion King musical, Broadway musical, they didn't have an Instagram. They only had a Twitter. So for me to get their attention or whatever, I had to post it on Twitter. And so I was on my Twitter and I was posting the video and tagging the Lion King Broadway musical. And like I had to stop myself midway through the post because I realized that Luna didn't have a Twitter account and that I was missing an opportunity to tag her in this post. So I copied my own post to a notepad, didn't make it, logged out, spent 20 minutes making Luna a Twitter with a nice bio and a banner and whatnot, then logged out of her Twitter just to log back into mine and make the post and tag the Lion King Broadway musical and Luna. And then sure enough, they retweeted it and followed Luna on Twitter. So it wasn't on accident, you know what I mean? But it's important to exist everywhere because if you want to get people's attention and they are not everywhere like you are, that's what you got to do.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I'll tell you, in a perfect world, you look at Reezy Resells. That was easy for you to and it will remain so for you to get it everywhere you want to get it. No one's good. I mean, but like Todd.LIVE, okay. And a lot of us have more common names, or our businesses are more common names, or they have symbols in them. Like, so Todd.LIVE, I can't have a period on Twitter. So, and somebody else is already Todd.LIVE. So I have to be Todd Bergen. Facebook, same thing. I can't have a symbol in there and somebody else is just plain old Todd.LIVE. So I think my page is Todd.LIVE page. But before the show, I sent you a link, and it's what I use. Like if I want to send somebody to my Facebook page, I figured out how to create a URL, a customized URL that's real easy. Remember, it's still not quite as good as, I like when you have all your symbols. You've got like an ad going somewhere, or you've got some sort of like an Instagram post, and it says at Reezy Resells with all the different platforms, and it's just uniform all the way down. Yes, that is ideal. Would you?
Maybe you should rebrand to Todd.LIVE 365.
Yeah, maybe. That's a thought, right?
I wouldn't even call that a rebrand. It'd be like a quick little name change. As long as you use the same imagery, no one would even say anything.
Yeah, maybe so.
Rhyming, guys, alliterations, all these things that have been selling products since 1852. It all still works.
Exactly. So for somebody wanting to get started, and actually, you know what? There were a couple people that had questions.
Yeah, let's answer.
If anybody wants to repost their questions, go ahead. One person.
How many viewers do we got? Because as far as I'm concerned, it's just me and you. I can't see anything.
See. Periscope is slow. Periscope, I've had 3 to 5. Facebook's been 30 to 40, pretty solid. Instagram.
If you guys are watching this on my Instagram, which I'm simulcasting, and you want to hear the person that I'm actually talking with, go to YouTube or go to Facebook or go to Periscope or for Todd.LIVE.
Or even Instagram, Instagram.
Or even Instagram, Todd.LIVE on Instagram. So exit this and then go to his, and you should be able to hear me, right?
Yes. There will be a slight delay, but Instagram Live cuts out at 1 hour, and normally when it cuts out, I just leave it alone, thinking I never really thought, hey, I'll just restart it, and I just did, and everybody just came back on. So
have we really been on here for an hour?
I think
I'm gonna go check out Todd's Instagram.
Yeah, I think, and as a matter of fact, the podcast sake, because I have been recording the podcast for an hour, I think we close it out, that part, and we'll stay on and take some questions. So, Reezy, where can people find you? Obviously, we've already talked about it, at Reezy Resells.
So my website is Reezy.TV. That's where you can find my merch and other links to find me. There's a link to my YouTube page on there. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel and ring the bell, because that's where I put out a lot of fire information, as well as my vlog videos that I really pride myself in editing. You can send me an email, reezyresells@gmail.com. You can call into my Anchor FM radio station. If you don't know about Anchor FM app, it's like Snapchat for radio, but it's great because you can call me and ask a question, and then I can post that to my feed, and everyone can hear it, and I can answer it. So it allows me to create content also. Snapchat, Reezy Resells. Obviously, I'm not paying too much attention to Snapchat so much anymore, just spectacles footage. But Instagram, Reezy Resells, Twitter. If you want to get a hold of me, the easiest way is going to be DM me on Twitter. That's probably where I get the least amount of messages. Facebook is the worst way to contact me because that's where I get the most messages, and I don't like their interface for messaging. But Instagram is good. I put most of my content on Instagram lately, and otherwise it's going to be YouTube.
Cool, folks. You can find him there. You can find me at Todd.LIVE most places. Most places, too, where my handle isn't exactly Todd.LIVE. If you search for Todd.LIVE, you will find me. Like on Facebook, it's under Pages. Twitter, it's under People. But you're going to be able to find me with Todd.LIVE. Not a big deal at all. Folks listening on the podcast, thank you for listening. Please rate, review, and subscribe. Feel free to reach out to me at Todd.LIVE, ask questions, comment on the show, let me know what you think. Thank you for listening. If you want to catch the live broadcast, Facebook is the best place. Search Todd.LIVE in the search bar. You will find my page, and we would love to have you there. Please leave comments. Let me know that you're there. If you came over from the podcast, that'd be great. And with that, folks, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m. Pacific is generally when the shows are on. And I, just thank you for listening. Thank you for taking valuable time out of your day. Thank you, Mike, for being on the program, and folks in live hangout. We're going to talk.
Mike?
Reezy, Mike Reezy. Yeah. Folks on the live, stick with us as I close out this podcast, and we'll take some questions and hang out a little longer. Thanks again, podcast family, for sticking around. We will talk to you next time.
I almost started rapping on your outro, Todd.
Hey, knock yourself out. I like to play with the music. Okay, so we have somebody on Instagram. There were a couple questions that came through, so if anybody wants to repost their questions, feel free. But RBrier23HD, I don't know if you know him. He's got an Amazon question for you. How do I get some more algorithm love aside from listing more?
On Amazon?
On Amazon.
It's not like eBay with the algorithm. There's no algorithm. You want to make sales, you need to have your price close to the buy box price, or it's not going to sell.
It's as simple as that?
Yeah, it's not algorithm like eBay where, if you don't have it mobile friendly, it doesn't get showed as much, or if you're not using certain keywords or your description's not populated, it might not suggest it as much. But on Amazon, it's pretty linear. It is what it is. It's showing the products that people buy. But if you want to make sales, you got to be close to the buy box price, because people don't go and click 23 other offers and then buy the one that's the cheapest. That's what people who are frugal do. That's what we do, because we're resellers and we're not retarded with our money. But most people, they just click add to cart, and they think Amazon sold it to them, which it's usually coming from one of us, and no one even knows. Funny little statistic, guys, is that it's something like 90+% of Amazon customers have never purchased an item that wasn't FBA, which means fulfilled by Amazon. So if your stuff, that's why you make a lot more sales when you have your stuff at Amazon's warehouse versus when it's just by yourself.
Somebody else asked, how often each day should they post on Instagram?
As often as you can, really. I used to think that, one post a day was good, and then I was like two, and then I was like, four. But I know people that post like 8 to 12 times a day. As much as you can post and provide value to your audience, then that's as much as you should do. So the more followers you have, the more you can post, because not everyone is going to go and see all your posts. Some of them are going to miss it. So it's less spammy to post more often if you have more followers, because a lot of those followers didn't catch your last post. So they're not really aware of the fact that you just posted something, an hour ago or whatever. But, just do what you're going to do and react to what your audience likes and doesn't like, and try and repeat those scenarios. But like, as much as you can do it, I think if you could post 24 times a day on Instagram, you'd be a champion.
Hey, I got another question. Are there any WordPress you recommend plugins selling Amazon products from your website? I don't know if I
No,
got
I
that.
don't know too much about that.
I might not have got that question exactly right. That was Ross Brand on Periscope. They only leave the question up for like a second, and
No, that's probably right. There is like affiliate marketing, so you get an Amazon affiliate link, which any of you guys can go and get an Amazon affiliate link. And if you go on my YouTube and you see I list all my camera gear, or my coffee machine, whatever, or the scanners we use and the printers we use, or whatever, all that stuff, those are all Amazon affiliate links. And if you click on that, and it takes you to Amazon to buy an item, and I make like 6 to 8% off of that item when you purchase it. It doesn't come out of your pocket or whatever. So that's really great, and it's pretty much just a standard thing that a lot of YouTube creators do. I make more money off of those Amazon affiliate links than I do off YouTube, for sure. So it's definitely a good thing that anybody should look into. But I think what the question was speaking about was like populating a store inside your web page full of other people's products. So like an affiliate link store on your page. Um, I know there is WordPress stuff, but I am not the website guy. When it comes to websites, I get my wallet out.
Yeah, I do too. I can do small things. I can install plugins and sometimes get them working, but
Yeah, yeah, I can manage it and like post content once it's set up, but if it wants, like my website right now, I tried to make it myself and it didn't look good at all. And I had a friend of mine, Samuel Foster. He's actually the brother of a guy that did a consultation with me, one of my followers. So I think his thing is like Samuel Foster Web Design. But he came in and cleaned up my mess. He probably gave me 6 hours of his life. And but I recently I'll send him stuff like, hey, check out Lewis Howe's website. Like, I want my website to look like that, and I'm like, what's that gonna cost? And he's like, well, like 3 to 6 grand. And it's gonna, you have to start from scratch. You can't take, like, I've already paid for WordPress or for this hosting or whatever. And that's wrong, because the guy who's going to make my website doesn't want to be confined by those. He wants to use the hosting he likes to use, and the platforms he wants to use. So if you want a badass website, don't start it out yourself and be trapped into something. Contact a good designer first, and let them actually help you.
I couldn't agree more. You've learned that from trial and error.
Oh yeah, basically. So pretty soon I'm gonna have to like get a different host and a different, I'm not gonna be using WordPress anymore, and some of that stuff I bought for like 2 years. So
Okay, somebody's been with us on Instagram, and I know it's one of your ninjas, Hustle Herbst.
Hustle Herb Street.
Yeah, yeah. Any idea how long it takes for Amazon to get back with you on setting up a merchant account?
No, so not merchant. He means an Amazon merch account,
Oh, a
which is
merch.
Amazon
Okay,
merch is Amazon's print-on-demand T-shirt business, where you upload designs and then they sell them for you.
cool.
But so previously it's been taking like 2 to 3 months to get approved. I don't know how long it's taking right now. Yeah, definitely seems to vary.
Do you
Yeah,
do you
so I
do
haven't
that?
heard of people getting approved quickly recently.
Do you,
You hear about it in waves. People will be like, "Oh, I got approved." Like, if you applied back in the day, go check if you got approved. Go into your emails and look to see if you got a message. Don't go and reapply. Go and look and see if you got a message.
do you do that? Do you upload
Yeah, I
designs?
do. I do. Unfortunately, it's not my focus because my focus is the social media and then maintaining my business. But I am transferring, our business is moving away from books and going into more focusing on shoes and apparel, things that we can make more per average sale. And, when you're in business, it comes down to, how much square feet do you have? How many employees do you have? And what can you produce with that space and manpower? And I can produce much more with shoes and other things like Amazon merch or Shopify, which is two categories I'm going to go heavily into, and also wholesale, just because I want to remove the sourcing time of products. I'd rather spend time up front to find a good wholesale product that I can keep reordering and have my employees focus on shipping instead of sourcing anything. And with Amazon merch, it's kind of like YouTube for me where I could do it from anywhere in the world. I can make designs on my phone and upload them from my phone and then wake up and have t-shirts that sold, and it doesn't require me to be anywhere. And that's very enticing me to think about, wow, you can make money and you don't have to, be here or there. You can go to Paris, you can go anywhere and you can work.
Right.
I was in line at Disneyland in a long line and designing shirts on my phone and uploading them to Amazon merch. And I was like, man, this is so cool. Like, I would never have brought my laptop into Disneyland, but and obviously if you have your
Well,
actual laptop, you could actually work and get stuff done faster. But the convenience of being able to do it from your phone when you're on the train or you're in an Uber or whatever, it's just ridiculous. Um, like on that note, I don't drive anymore. I thank my wife so much because, I've convinced her that, hey, that's very valuable time for me when we're driving. I can answer direct messages. Sometimes I take my laptop in the car. I'm editing video in the front seat of the car while we're driving down the road.
nice. I did not know that you were doing that. That's fabulous. I'm gonna have my wife is does not march off to a job either. I'm gonna have to find a way to get her to drive me around to lunch and all the places I need to go when I need to go, so I can play with my
Yeah.
phone instead. That's brilliant.
Just show her that it's making you some money, like, babe, this is, it's not a ton of money, but it's paying for groceries, and I think it's going to pay for a lot more in the future. So
Oh yeah, you're crushing it,
I
dude.
really need to do this, like it's the opportunity with social media. Like at my talk that I did in Rhode Island, where I was telling everybody about they need to be on social media, and it was a room full of upper middle class, mostly white people making lots of money that they don't know about social media. And I was like, it's as simple as this. Who the fuck is Reezy Resells? Some shit I made up one night. And why am I on this stage? Like if you don't realize that, the power of social media, then I don't know what will.
It's incredible. I mean, you've had an amazing journey, and I feel like you were already pretty much there when I stumbled across you, but I think that you're what you've been able to do and your audience and the people that you're impacting has grown substantially,
Yeah, it
multiple
changed my
times
life,
over, it
man.
seems
It's
like.
really crazy. For some reason, I just wasn't like into the super fulfillment zone of my life in that point in time. And I think maybe it's because I wasn't creating art and because I wasn't helping people. And so now that I'm helping people, it's extremely fulfilling to help people and they tell, a woman cried when she met me and I told her, don't cry, you don't have to cry. And she's like, well, you helped me pay off my $40,000 student loan debt. I can't help it. And that's crazy to me. And so like the feeling that I get, which might be like my own selfish addiction to that feeling that I get or whatever, it's unreal. I never had it before in my life. And also same thing about creating art, making videos, and then people actually watching them and enjoying them. And those two things put together, it cured my asthma, Todd. Like I've
Really?
had severe asthma my entire life, and just from having a purpose-driven life, and I'm not a religious person, it just went away overnight. I also stopped sleeping 8 hours a night. I only sleep like 5 or 6 hours max. I might catch up here or there on the weekend or whatever, but there's just so much opportunity in the world that you owe it to the people that don't have those opportunities to get up and do them and show them what's possible.
Well, you're getting a lot of love from people on Instagram. Two people said that they got onto Amazon or really stepped up their game because of you. Another one says you're a wonderful inspiration. So you got people on Instagram. I get the most comments on live video on Instagram, and it's funny because there's a delay. I mean, I bet the sound is off by 7 or 8 seconds by what they, if you drop an F bomb, they're going to hear it 7 or 8 seconds before they actually see your mouth make that gesture or form that word. But it's incredible how Instagram people are really active on the live much more than the stories. The stories,
Well,
it's like a
you know
void of.
why though, right? Because when you're on live, you're at the top of their feed and your icon is bouncing the entire time that you're
Yeah,
live.
true, right?
So what I noticed recently when I realized that so much is that, oh, okay, well, so for one, for Instagram strategy, post more to your story. A lot of people say, oh, anything longer than 2 minutes is not good. Bullshit. Nobody knows what's good, especially for you and for your niche. Only thing you can do is do it and see if you get more comments or more replies. My whole thing is that, like, who cares if your story's 20 minutes long? If people aren't going to watch the whole 20 minutes, they're not going to watch it, whether it's 20 minutes or 18 or 16 or 14 or 12 or 10 or 6. They're not going to watch it. They're not going to watch it. They're not going to watch it. But what you're doing by posting more frequently is you're keeping your story at the top of the feed. So all you have to do is just post more to the story than that average person, and you will be at the top of most of your followers' stories. As you should, as a marketer, you should know these things. And the live is like the next level of that, where it's at the front and it's bouncing the whole time. So what I've noticed is that some people will go live for like hours and hours, and then as soon as it fills up their phone or whatever, an hour, they restart it, and just keep it going. And I don't know if you're aware of this, Todd, but there's a big trend going on Twitch right now called IRL, in
Okay.
real life.
Yep.
And it's crazy. I'm not a big Twitch dude, but I have followers that are big on Twitch that tell me about this, and they're like, so the main category, like, here you're in Twitch, and then here's this category, gaming, which is obviously the most popular Twitch category. On the same level of the tree is IRL, like not inside of another category, as a main category is IRL, and it's blowing up. Now think about how crazy this is. Art has a category. So if you're doing dancing or music, that's in a subcategory inside of art. But IRL is in the main category, just like gaming. So people are, like Andy Milanakis is really big on IRL, and he has a satellite hotspot in his pocket or whatever, and he's streaming from his phone all the time. And if you don't know, IRL means in real life,
Right.
and they're not doing anything different than what they would ever do. If they're going to go eat, they're going to go eat. They're just talking like how we're talking, and it's not like how you see me on my YouTube or Instagram story or whatever. I'm like, hey, it's your boy Reezy. Like, I don't do that in real life. That is for entertainment, for television, right? You need an intro. You got to get people's attention. You don't just go live and be like, hey guys, it's Reezy Resells here. I'm just gonna be super
That's probably how
boring.
I do it. That's how I do it.
Shut up, Todd.
That's probably how I do it. Yeah, I mean it's amazing the times that we're in and the ability to do the things that we're doing, and it's rapidly changing right before our very eyes. As soon as you settle on doing something and make up your mind and start doing it and getting good at it, it's already changed. It's already changed by the time you've decided to do it. It's
Yep.
crazy.
So one person, read that comment right now from Hustle Herb Street.
Oh yeah, I'm in real estate. I'm a real estate agent, and Reezy has changed my life because now in my free time, I'm hitting stores and thrift shops and making money on top of money.
Okay, so I got a question for you. But I know that that's great. You're making money on money. But, excuse me, are you using any of the tips that I've given to sell houses? Because one thing I know about realtors is they're mostly older. There's not a lot of 25-year-old realtors or even under 30. So, shout out to you if you are a young realtor because you're a young hustler. But I guarantee you there's a lot of white space because, like we were talking about earlier about Todd's 13-year-old daughter and how her niche audience is probably not on Facebook yet, and that's massive white space. I bet you out of the 30 realtors in the office that you work with, not many of them are trying to sell houses on Snapchat or Instagram stories or using Instagram Live or using 360 VR videos like from the Insta 360 Nano camera or whatever to create, they're not creating. This podcast is about creating engaging content, and I guarantee you that all your contemporaries are not creating engaging content. So get a Mavic drone, those things can stream to Facebook Live. So, you should be flying over the houses and talking about them on Facebook Live. You should be, going through on Instagram Live and showing the houses. You should get a pair of spectacles and walk through the houses and open up the door and you check out the sink and just
Absolutely.
show the house like from the actual human's perspective if they live there. Put that on Snapchat. Then take those and put that on those spectacles footage on Instagram or whatever. I almost wish I was a realtor because it feels like it would be very easy to sell houses on with using social media because I know that nobody is really doing it right. And I also know that the next generation of home buyers, they're not going on Zillow to look for homes. They don't even know they're looking for homes. They probably don't even know that they could own a home with. So maybe you do a little bit of mortgage counseling slash real estate. You have to build your market and let them know that, educate your customers so that you can increase your conversion.
You've convinced me. I'm a licensed broker in the state of California. I've been for years and I never use it. If you're a licensed attorney in California, you get to go straight to the broker's exam and take it. And I didn't pass it the first time because I thought it would be super easy. And it was, but I didn't study. I needed to study for it. But yeah, you've convinced me. I need to go sell houses now because I know how to do all this shit and I can,
Yeah, I mean, you'll have a huge advantage, right? Because look at it. The thing is how do you sell a house, Todd, or how do you sell anything IRL with these things? Your
yep,
eyeballs,
yep,
right?
yep,
And what we're doing on social media right now is extremely conducive to connecting your eyes to someone else's eyeballs. Not only that, you can put these things on and you can show them what you're seeing and with your hands in the shot, which is, let me open the door and walk into the house and let me here's the hot tub, and oh, here, check out the shower, it's got freaking Jay-Z shower head. Whatever, all those things, the little details that just look how people show houses. Here's the picture, maybe they have an aerial video, I doubt it. They don't. You could do really crazy stuff. You could take your DJI Mavic and have it in your hands recording, walk through the house and show it. And that will be a very stable shot because it's gimbal, right? And then
yep.
when you walk out the front door, hand launch it from your hand. And now you have this shot where, you walk through the house and like maybe you speed it up. And then at the end, it gets out the door and boom, the camera flies up above the house, which is going to blow everyone's mind because they thought you were holding a camera, not a drone. And then you're going to have that aerial shot and the house shot all in one. Like, go inside the house and shoot a funny video and be engaging, make a nice edit.
Yeah, I agree. I've got a friend of mine who does all sorts of, he does social media, he does website design, he does photography. He's got the drone. He's got this big drone that's like the size of the roof on a car, and it holds this giant camera and lens. And I mean, he does car commercials. He does all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
But
the great thing is you don't need any of that anymore. You got $1,000 and you get a Maverick drone and you can fit the damn thing in your back pocket.
yeah, you're right.
It's
Um,
crazy. Like if you do social media, you need to have all that crap. You need to have, the spectacles, not just because it makes it easier to create content, but because that's an interesting topic in your industry, social media.
Absolutely. You got anything that you want to close out on? Any thoughts that I've asked for questions and I think we've tapped it about out. I could look at, I've got 30 people still with us on Facebook Live. I could sit here all day and just have fun, but we both have lives to get to and
Yeah,
things
I
to
gotta go
do.
to the restroom. But one thing that I want to point out, guys, is make an effort to reach out to people and connect with people on social media because you never know what's gonna happen. People are awesome. You don't hear about it a lot. Mostly you hear people say people are shitbags because everyone wants to talk about it when something negative happens. No one goes on Facebook or Twitter and posts people are awesome. So if you're watching this or you're listening to this, I would really appreciate you going to whatever your social media platform of choice is and then just posting people are awesome. Hashtag stop the lies. Because I am firmly convinced that humanity is amazing. You just hear about the bad stuff way more, and we need to stop the lies. People are awesome.
Yeah, bad stuff sells. People feed on it. It's a shame. It makes them feel better about their day. Maybe they're miserable about something, or maybe there's just a hole that needs to be filled. And
Yeah,
that,
look at Todd. Todd's awesome, guys. And
well, thank
another
you.
thing I want to add is support people that are doing awesome things. Just like you support small businesses or whatever, support people that are trying to do good things. Like Todd, Todd is working his ass off. He does all these kinds of things, he's not getting traction as easily as I am, but he's a good dude. And so if you guys want to know about video stuff, doing live simulcast or whatever, check Todd out. He's a super good dude. We've met in real life several times. And I guess I just want to say, if you want to do social media or whatever, then support other people that are going to do it. And when they know that you care about them, then they might care about you.
Well, thanks for the love, my friend. I'll tell you, you're one of the first people I met when I got started doing this. You're one of my closest friends in this space, easily. And I mean, we text all the time. I love that, if I send you a text within, it's a rare moment that I don't hear from you within 5 minutes. And it's the same way going back, and we just have our minds always got something going on. It's like, hey, I found this app. I'm going to see if Mike has it. Is Mike using it? Last night it was Flipboard. I've been using Flipboard for a long time, but it was interesting. I found somebody who was, I've read something, I read an article about getting your content out there, and Flipboard came very highly, and I didn't realize you could create your own magazine. And wow. It's just the power in creating your own magazine where you're reposting other people's stuff, but sprinkling in your own stuff, and the potential that, big news sources like Inc. or Washington Times or something might just flip your story. That's incredible.
Amazing. I didn't realize that when you said that you could use other people's content and then put yours inside of it, because that's a strategy. That's a YouTube strategy that a lot of people don't know about, is that one of the metrics that YouTube tracks you by is how long do people stay on YouTube when you referred them to
Yes.
YouTube, whether or not they're watching your video. So what you can do is you can make a playlist, and the first video is your video, and it's short. But then after that, you put Casey Neistat videos or Sean Duras videos or whatever, something that gets a lot of traction that people are going to watch. Then YouTube will reward you because you're sending people to YouTube and they're staying on YouTube longer. And when they reward you, they're going to suggest your videos more and stuff like that. So we need to come up with a name for that, Todd, because there's not currently a name for that strategy, like sandwiching or something.
Yeah,
Social
absolutely.
media sandwiching.
Sprinkling, or we post a bunch of TechCrunch and Wired or whatever it is that you like, and then every once in a while you throw yours in there.
Well, look at like Guy Kawasaki, right? He's like the king of this. I don't even think he posts any original content. Everything he posts is him reposting someone else's stuff. Like, hey,
yep.
I know about cool stuff. Check this out.
Absolutely. Well, folks, thanks for watching. We've got an end of questions. We still are maintaining 30 people on Facebook. It's been fabulous. Facebook people, thank you so much. Periscope as well. Instagram Live. A lot of those people got booted at the 1 hour mark. And the
Facebook video will be longer than the podcast, yeah?
It will be, yes.
Cool.
Yes,
yeah, because we're still spitting fire after the podcast ended.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'd love to have you as a recurring guest. I mean, if you want to come on and we chit-chat about the state of things when things happen, like a big Snapchat update or an Instagram update, or and they don't all have to be an hour. I mean, it can be, let's jump on for 10 minutes and chat about some new update. Yeah,
I'd be interested. Can I also put that audio on my podcast?
You can, I'd be able to send you a file and you could chop it up and take clips.
Yeah. Well, that's just, if I can put that on my podcast too, that'd be more motivation, more incentivizing for me.
Oh yeah, we do a dual podcast. So yeah, where like the entire 10 minutes, 20 minutes is going both places. Yeah, I don't see why not.
Yeah. Either way, I'm just, if it helps me create content for my audience, that's cool, because you're in social media and I'm going into that space more. Not that I'm not on social media,
right,
but going into, speaking about social media or being an authority on it or whatever, just because I know there's a lot of upside in that. That's not going to change for a while.
Yeah, I think we need to talk about that. And you're going to be in Orange. You're going to be, well, I mean, not that we don't have a phone and texting, but you're going to be in Orange County in a month and a half. So we're going to have to hang out and have some power talks.
Definitely, man. That'd be cool. And some people, so we can get in, maybe we could get Carlos Gill, or you could get Joel Comm or something. And, it's not unrealistic, guys. Like, you can literally, anything is possible from your phone. And that's the world we live in. This thing in your pocket, you pull it out, anything's possible.
It is. It's amazing. I'm so excited. We have kids. Aren't you excited for your kid? What she has to grow up to? I mean, it's amazing.
super excited because who knows what's going to happen.
Exactly. Well, listen, Reezy, hang on there while I close out the broadcast. Thank you, everybody, for hanging in for so long today. But I know we could have probably gone another 4 hours with, particularly
For
with
8-hour
with
broadcast.
Reezy. You would maintain people for 4 hours. You could do a Gary Vaynerchuk Super 8, a Gary Vaynerchuk style Super 8, where you talk for 8 hours on multiple platforms, and your crowd would be with you the entire
I'm
time.
gonna do it when my book comes out.
There you go.
Trust me.
Well,
As long as my wife brings me 8 coffees, we'll be good. I might need to get a catheter though.
I know that or some Depends or something.
Yeah, did Gary V not go to the bathroom for 8 hours?
Can you
I didn't watch the whole 8 hours.
Can you maintain your position while you're changed from below the desk or whatever? If you
maybe.
But yeah,
mouth jar.
Gary Vaynerchuk Super 8. I'll close it out with this. Gary Vaynerchuk Super 8 is what inspired me to be on multiple platforms. When his book came out, he was on Facebook and YouTube and Spreecast and Periscope and
all at one time.
And it was like, man, how cool is that? And that Super 8, I remember I was homesick with the flu. It was like a year and a half ago, early 2016 when he did that.
Were you on the thing when he shouted me out?
Did he shout you out on that one? I might not have known
that intro that I have on my YouTube.
Was that on that? Was that on that day?
650,000. Holy shit! Whatever. That's hustle. That was on the live, the Super 8. So I couldn't get in on the Periscope to comment or the Facebook, or I mean, I could get on the Facebook, but there were so many comments they were flowing off the screen right away. And at the time, he was still heavy on Meerkat. And so I was like, maybe there's less people on Meerkat. Like, I've never used it. I'm sure most people haven't. So I went on Meerkat, and sure enough, there was way less comments. And then there was kind of a lull where he had like dead air for a minute, and he was looking for comments to engage with. And he happened to lean over to the screen of whatever device was doing Meerkat. And right then I was waiting to pounce, and I literally had my comment copied already, and I pasted it into the box and hit enter. And he saw it, and he got all hyped. And then after that, I was like, I had to figure out how to record that Periscope replay before it evaporated because Periscope wasn't forever at that time, you know?
Well, he likes to pronounce you Reezy.
Yeah, it's apparent that he didn't do good in school because 2 vowels followed by a consonant. We know what happens when you do that.
Right.
If you went to school. But I'm not mad at him. I actually got mad love for Gary. A lot of people say that I'm riding on Gary's nuts or whatever, but the reality is he's just done so much for me, and like I wouldn't be on social media if it wasn't for him. I wouldn't be helping all these people if it wasn't for him. My asthma wouldn't have went away if it wasn't for him, you know. And so I owe the man a lot, and I just can't wait for the day that I'm on the show with him and I get to be interrupting him, because I'm going to be the first guest that interrupts Gary more than Gary interrupts someone else, guaranteed.
There you go. I can't wait for that day. You got to make sure when that's happening, I'm well informed and maybe even can be there live. I'll fly to New York City if you're going to meet him and do that. If they will allow me to come in and watch the broadcast. You know.
Well, I got to have a handler.
A handler. Okay. Yeah.
You can be my handler.
All right. I don't know if I like that title. We'll have to think of a different title.
Well,
handler.
Right.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
We can have separate beds. It's okay.
Right. Well, that comes right after you were talking about riding Gary's nuts. So I just,
yeah.
It's all, okay. But listen, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being on the program. It was a great pleasure, and we got to do it again soon. Thank you for everybody for being here. And with that,
man, I'm looking forward to the one we can shoot in the same room. Maybe we can have a beer too.
Well, you know what? Maybe we can do that when you're out here in June. I think you said it was June. Cool.
It might be July, but yeah.
All right, my friends, I am closing it out now. Hang in there, Mike, and we'll talk for a minute.